Hello everybody, welcome back to another New World video. Today it's not going to be a super long one, in fact quite a quick one, and I just wanted to cover over the 5 best tips that I can give you to succeed in PvP. You know, at the end of the day, I think one of the frustrating things that comes for a lot of players when it comes to PvP and MMOs is, and I was thinking about this, you know, it's not as simple as something like Call of Duty or any of these first-person shooter games that are competitive, right? Because you jump into these games, you're at a fairly square footing, Sea of Thieves as well, for example, and you just fight and you're on equal ground, right? Apart from, your gun, the fact that you know the map better, maybe. There's certain things that increase the skill level, of course, but there's nothing essentially like, there's no crazy disadvantage between you and the other player where, in New World, it's difficult, right? Because sometimes maybe you like doing some PvP in arenas and whatnot, and then you fight somebody that's 625, fully burst out, their gear cost over 1 million gold, they're in the best company, and there's literally zero way you can beat these guys. It sucks. It's really lame. That's one of the very frustrating things about PvP and MMOs. Especially in this MMO. But anyway, let's get on to it. Let's get into the 5 tips that I can give you to hopefully give you some success in PvP. So number 1, know the meta. Some of the best perks that you can get in New World are Freedom, Resilient, Shirking Fortification, and then, on the legs, people tend to get Shirking Energy because it's a massive lifesaver, right? So make sure you remember those perks, guys. If you see them on the, the auction house and you see something, a piece of gear that is perhaps for you and it's got a couple of these perks, grab them. Grab them because it's going to make a difference in your PvP and, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So know the meta, know your perks, make sure you grab them when you can. Number 2, 33 cons food is pretty cheap. If we just go over to the marketplace over here, where I am, and check it out, I think Spiced Nog is a 33 cons food. Oh my god, somebody's bought so much of that. And then there was another one as well. So this one, obviously, there's 18 gold per, which isn't awful, but it is quite expensive still. But there is another one, Eternum Sturgeon. God, these have all been bought up as well. Holy crap, they've all been bought up on my server, which is actually kind of crazy. I didn't expect them all to be bought up like that. But point being, the 33 cons food usually isn't too expensive, and it's worth getting because it can complete your build in a way that other builds just can't compete with. Like, just take a look at my build, for example. I'm sitting on 117 cons, 300 dex, 51 strength. I'm at 17 cons because when I eat one of the sturgeons, it bumps up my health to 150, and now I'm sitting at 150, 350, right? So I get the bonus of the strength, the full bonus of the dexterity, and 3 bonuses of the constitution. So grab the foods that you can to help complete the build. You see what I'm saying? Stretch yourself out a bit, that little bit further, so you can get yourself, one more bonus to your build. It's important. Everyone does it. If you're not doing it, then you're missing out. So keep an eye out for that. Number 3, weapon perks. Now, it's hard to go over all of the details of all of them, without it being an incredibly long video on, empowering Fireball on the Fire Staff is essentially, you could argue is one of the best, whatever, right? But the ones that I'd put down is Enchanted, one of the elemental achievements, whether or not it's Void, Nature, Frost, whatever, and Vicious can be a pretty deadly combo, just because your left clicks and holding your left clicks or just shooting with a musket or shooting with a bow, it becomes so much stronger just off the back of doing that, and just having those 3 perks, and especially the elemental attunement. That one obviously is, and I think everybody knows it now, it's a sought after perk on every weapon. So if you see it and you find a weapon that is perhaps good for you, then make sure you snap it up, guys, because again, that's one of the meta perks right now, so keep an eye out for it. Number 4, disengagement. Now, disengagement's pretty important, right? Because when you're fighting in PvP, a lot of the times what can get people killed is maybe people getting a bit too ambitious with how many people that they can take on, running into a few too many, you know. All of the successful 1v3s and da-da-da that you all see on New World all the time, it's all the same. These people attacking, you know, they'll get into a scrap and then they're disengaging, they're pulling away, and they're trying to figure out who's squishiest, maybe if you're in a 1v3 or what have you. Going for that guy, getting the kill, disengaging, healing, coming back to engage, you know, at so on, so forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So one of the best pieces of advice I could give you, you know, is make sure to remember when to disengage. Don't disengage too late. Don't disengage too early. Just when you need to, so you can roll away, keep the distance, get your heals, come back and re-engage. If you stay too long, you're going to die, and it will always happen, and it will frustrate you. So that's another great tip. And then number 5, utility is key. Now, this one, all I mean by it is when you have your build, whatever build that you're using, right? It's important to make sure that you fit a few things, you check a few boxes, right? Does my weapon have a disengager or an engager? Example, rapier with the flèche, great axe with the charge, the new great sword with the whirlwind spin or whatever the hell it is, the bow with the retreating shot, you know, the hatchet with the leaping strikes, or the sword with the leaping strikes, and the hatchet with that little leap one as well. Make sure your weapon has these certain things. Do I have a defensive, a riposte, you know, a shield, what have you? Have you got something that can defend yourself away from it? And that could mean, you know, more movement as well. You know, you can use the movement as a defense as well. You know, when I was playing Rapier Fire Staff, it's all movement. Burn out, shoot, flèche, shoot, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. You know, that's sort of how these things work. But just make sure when you are making your build that you do fit these certain criteria, because what you'll find is when you're fighting these people and you're going for it, one, you're not going to maybe you don't have like a combo like other people do, like with the hammer and the stun and the hit and then the stun again and the blunderbuss combo, the shield, the sword and shield, the roll behind with the rogue, and then the heavy attack, the shield bash. Something to stun, something to grit, something for defensive, something for traversal, you know. All of these things matter. It's important that you do check a few of those boxes, because like I say, it's going to be very frustrating. You're not going to be able to get like the final kill on somebody, like I found when I was using sword and shield and bow, like I'm using now. I was getting very frustrated because I wasn't able, if somebody was running away, I'd have no real gap closer. You know, I can switch to my bow and I get my speed, but then I go to my sword and I do my leaping strike, and that's a really nice finisher when somebody's running away. So make sure that you fit those boxes, okay? So that's about it, guys. That's about everything. That's the 5 best tips that I can give you for PvP, just quickly anyway. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for all the support on the video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, peace out for now. Bye!